Hi, my name is William Hathaway. I'm with Local Talk Sports. We're on the campus of Cicely Tyson High School in the great city of East Orange, and we're with...
How's it going, everybody? My name is DJ Riley. I'm the president of GiveBLK and one of the facilitators for the event, Game Changers.
And what is this all about today?
So Game Changers is an event just to empower the youth and people that just want to see a change in East Orange and surrounding areas. We're having workshops that deal with mind over matter, health is wealth, make your own way in entrepreneurial or intrapreneurial careers, or even masculinity and femininity. So come on out if you guys are here. We appreciate the support, and just know we're going to make things happen each and every day. So keep on supporting us.
And your name?
My name is Justice Sims McCray. I am the finance officer of GiveBLK, as well as the coordinator of this event. So yeah, this event is really just a space for us to connect, bringing the community together to shift the way that we think and see things, right? And so that's why we call it the Game Changers, because what we're doing here today is just a start, but it's essentially all to create the change that we all need and want to see. But we have to understand that change starts within. So that's, this is our opportunity to start creating that change within, so that way we create it for the outside as well.
Yep. And talk a little bit about some of the workshops, that are educational wise, and talk, some of the workshops you guys came in doing this morning.
Yeah, so the workshop that we just left out of, so I was the facilitator for Mind Over Matter, just knowing how to have the right mindset to make it in this world. Like I told the students, life is about 90% of how you react to things, but 10% of what happens to you. So sometimes you gotta really understand that not everything is gonna be peaches and cream, and it's gonna be times where things are gonna work out all the time. But as long as you have the mindset saying that, hey, even if things don't go the way that I envisioned it, you're still able to make a way out of no way. So that was Mind Over Matter.
And for myself, I just led the health is wealth topic.
And your name?
Justice. And so in that topic, we spoke about how to take your health to create a wealthy life and a wealthy environment, and then also to use your wealth to produce for your health. The reason why that's important is because you can't have one without the other, right? If you're a wealthy person, you have to be able to live long and to enjoy that wealth, right? And if you're a healthy person, you want to live wealthy all around, and that's not just monetarily, but that's just in freedom in life. You want to be wealthy, be abundant. And so we talked about how to bridge that gap and create that alignment between your mind, your body, and your spirit of how to be a model person and to uphold yourself to a certain standard of living, and what to look for in order to continue that, maintain that.
So we're in the great city of East Orange. We have a collaboration with our local mayors. We're here with the mayor of East Orange, Ted Green. Welcome, sir. How are you, sir?
Good.
So we're here with Mayor Ted Green, the city of East Orange. Mayor Dwayne Warren, he was just here. Both police departments, we in collaboration. Mayor, talk a little bit about Game Changer and this event that's happening in the city of East Orange.
Right.
With the help with Orange.
Right. Well, first of all, let me just thank everybody who helped put this event together. I always say it's all about partnerships, and we can't work in silos, that we have to work together, because when there's any time that we're trying to build our community and our young people, we got so many young men and women in our community that got so many great ideas and bring so much to the table. So I just want to, first of all, thank them. And secondly, this is good, especially when we can get together and kind of embrace our young people and just enhance their skills, their lifetime skills. So some of the things I heard today, appreciate all of you. Thank you guys, and it's right, your health, your mindset, all that has to do with, I'm a martial artist. So we always say spirit, mind, and body.
Yeah.
So whatever we do, you have to put your spirit behind. You have to, your body, that's your temple. You got to kind of coordinate all that together. But the number one thing is making sure our young people have discipline in their lives and structure. That's what my dad gave me, and I think where I'm at today because he gave me structure. And also understanding how to think about your reactions when you do things, so this is excellent for our young people.
So talk about a little bit about, you have some upcoming events. We have a great boxing event that's coming up in the city of East Orange with Rajon Chance. We were over there on Media Press Day covering it.
Yeah.
And how does that get along with the youth and your programs and your mindset here in East Orange, looking collaborations with the city of Orange or Irvington or Newark, or how do you mindset those parts and particular events
Yeah. So look, we're both mayors, and plenty of the urban mayors, we deal with the same challenges with our young people, honestly with our community. So as urban mayors, we always have the mindset in terms of how we feed off each other, how to bring in organizations like this, because we can't do it by ourselves, right? We have a young man, Rajan Chance, who is a boxer from East Orange. He turned pro, and he was fighting all over, but never fought in his hometown. His brother just turned pro. And I think that we have to find ways as elected officials to support our young people, right? And make sure that we find, money also, but also embrace them to show them that when we talk about that we are supporting them, you can't talk it, you got to be about it also. So we bring in a fight on April the 26th right here to Campus High School, which we're getting different sponsors and different people in the community to help support the boxing match because he's excited about it. His family excited about it. And not only that, it just shows our young people in our community when you're doing well that we have to step up too as not only just elected officials, as men in the community, as women in the community, and we have to support them. So I think it's going to be something good for him, and it shows him when we ask him to come back to give back that we have to get behind it. So
And prior to that, you honored a gentleman from the Philadelphia Eagles,
Jahan Dotson.
Jahan Dotson.
Yes, from East Orange. And last night, honestly, we had the mayor's event, and we had Malcolm Jenkins at the event last night who came through for us, and he's planning to do some things in the community, right? And I want to connect all of them together. Look, I always say as a mayor, I don't want to be involved in everything. I think that you have so many organizations and people that becomes the experts. Our goal is just put them on, give them the platform and let them do their job like they did today.
So we're in the city of East Orange, Cicely Tyson with Mayor Green. And your name?
Justice Sims.
Daryl Riley.
With the Game Changer program, we're going to be having a 5-on-5 tournament among the students. There's over 100 participants that took part in this event. Students from out in Essex County, 100 students. So this is a great event. My name is William Hathaway with Local 12 Newark Sports.
Can I just say one more thing too, just very quickly? And I have to say is we as leaders cannot be afraid to allow our young, up-and-coming leaders to take the platform. We can't continue to want to hold on to what we have and not allow them on the platform. I welcome the Game Changers because they are the future. And if I had to look at my grandson and knowing that these young men do what they do, I know that he's going to have a better future.
Thank you very much, Mayor.
Because you got to let them lead.
My name is DJ Riley, the president of GiveBLK and one of the facilitators for Game Changers. This workshop is about making your own way. So when it comes to making your own way, it's about entrepreneurship or entrepreneurship, where it comes from having your own business or doing the best when it comes to having your own job. Also career development, so there's going to be different ways that you can make yourself even as a better individual to make sure your career excels. So once again, my name is DJ Riley. Not only am I the president of GiveBLK, not only am I the facilitator of Game Changers, but I'm an entrepreneur in my own right with the fashion tech industry. I have a business called Tendaji. I'm the co-founder and CEO of it. It means make things happen, and we create jackets that can wirelessly charge your phone via solar power. So I'll let the panelists go on and introduce themselves, starting with my boy Brian, and then we'll go into the questions. Is that cool? Sure. All right, let's go.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Brian Apronti. I'm CEO and founder of Green Dream Capital. We just make sure we're bridging the gap for anybody who's interested in financial literacy, investing, trading, to make sure you can make your wealth come real.
So guys, my name is Brandon. A little bit myself, when I was 18, I went to a nonprofit organization, took it national a year later, held national conferences at New York University, Squarespace, 400 college students across the country coming out. Speakers to work with Ron James and Kendrick Lamar, etc. A year after that, I was a Forbes 30 under 30 scholar in 2021. Published my first book right after that. Launched a mentorship program, and now I run a global startup program in Silicon Valley.
Hi everybody, my name is Dwayne Warren. A little bit about me on the career side. I'm a current vice president at a private equity firm. Who's not familiar with private equity invests into private companies that are usually pretty large. Those private equity firms usually need to get money from somewhere to invest, so they go and ask somebody from it. They're usually asking me for that. So it's been really interesting stuff. I get to invest in people that look like you and I, which obviously makes a difference. And then on the entrepreneurial side, about 2 years ago, I launched a nonprofit that's raised a little over $500,000 at this point. It's deployed, I don't know, a little over 70,000, I'd say, in communities. And so we really do everything around economic development to just community engagement, supporting students. So yeah, excited to talk to you.
My name is Steven Sangstack. Let's see. My formal background is in engineering, but I've transitioned into the finance industry, serving as a financial advisor. I've always had a love for entrepreneurship. As I mentioned, studying as a student in engineering, I couldn't afford to, while in college you can't afford to do much, but I couldn't afford to go to a barbershop. And so for me, I had this love and craft of this artistry, and I learned that I could barber. That was my first introduction to entrepreneurship, selling something. Aside from maybe even before that, washing cars and mowing the lawn, but just being willing to make money on my own efforts, right? What has now spawned into, I guess, again, most recently is I have a company called Society Wealth Planning Group. It's where I've partnered my own agency with Northwestern Mutual, and again, do financial advising for individuals in the Laguerre Corporation.
Great. So I would like to go ahead and drop the first question. For the business owners, I just want to get an origin of how your business started. What possessed you to even think about maybe I should start a business? What was the steps that you took, or what motivated you to even think that this was a route for you? So, Steven, you can go ahead and start it off, and we'll go ahead and come back. All right?
What motivated me? One of the things that you'll learn in entrepreneurship, they'll always say when you have a story to tell, people attract or are attracted to stories. And so for me, I grew up in a single parent home. I was the oldest of 3 boys. I always watched my mother struggle, to the point where sometimes she would take money out of my little piggy bank, my little savings account to buy cigarettes, right? And I'm like, Mom, why you always nickel and diming me for my bread? And I just knew I did not want to live like that anymore. I didn't identify, I understood the fight and the struggle, but I didn't want to live that anymore. And so all that I did, especially being the oldest of my generation, was about getting out of poverty. I didn't like it. And so when I realized more often than not, people are in impoverished circumstances. One, because it was the product of their environment, but secondly, it's a matter of habits and or just their lack of awareness. I've always tried to be around mentorship. Men who I've seen are successful, I just try to center myself around them. And then what I would realize is either they just had a work ethic or they had their own business. And so for me, that's just kind of what drove me to just position myself and having my own. And lastly, again, I just realized you can be the hard, and I think I've heard 2 of these other gentlemen say that they're in finance. The reality is you can be one of the hardest workers and have a high-paying job, but if you don't know what to do with your money, you're just a high-paid employee or a high-paid worker. It's individuals that are smart about their money. They understand the importance of saving. They understand the importance of managing, and they understand the importance of moving. So we call that, making money, managing money, moving money. I said I want to be around those that know how to do that. And so I've always positioned myself to be around individuals that are doing smart things with their money, not just with their time.
Sure. I think mine is a little different because the business that I'm currently running is a nonprofit. although I launched a for-profit startup a few years ago. And that was really out of the drive to be an entrepreneur, but I was fresh out of college, and so I think there was this desire to kind of build things up on my own. And a lot of you might have that innately already in you. It might not be an actual experience that you need to make you want to do your own thing. And so if that's something you have now, you can just continue building upon it, build your skills, and then once you have those two things combined, you'll be able to find a problem that you can present a solution to and then build a business around it. But while the reason I launched the nonprofit is because, as I think most of you are from these areas, so you'll see East Orange, like a lot of them are having a lot of development going on, especially around the trains. And so for me, I was like, hey, let's go to these developers, let's make sure that they're actually committed to the community, and let's make them put dollars to work. And so for me, that was really what I did. So I went to the developers, I kind of said, you're making a lot of money off of us, how about putting some money into us? And they kind of couldn't say no to that. So it's pretty easy to do. Yeah.
Yeah, so my journey is like I started my business my freshman year of college. I was like 17, 18 years old, not much older than you guys are. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and when I first had an idea for a business, I had a problem finding people who looked like me who also wanted to start business, and people who looked like me who could invest money into my business. And so I was like, I don't see a space for that, so I'm going to create one myself, right? So I partnered with one of my friends who went to UPenn, Pennsylvania, and we launched the national nonprofit, bringing young students of color together who wanted to create businesses, who wanted to be investors and things like that. Created those spaces and partnered with large organizations, large universities, and that was really my why. Just I wanted to be around more people who looked like me, who wanted to do really cool shit. That's how we started.
Yeah, for me, my start in entrepreneurship, I saw it from my dad. Honestly, he had a sign business, and for me, the entrepreneur bug bit me really early. I saw him making money. I'm like, yo, working a job is cool, but getting paid a couple $100s for some signs, that's even cooler. And I literally started finding problems and seeing what solutions I can provide for it. So starting in high school, I used to throw house parties, hotel parties, and charge people to come into the door, have food there, charge for plates of food. And literally, I'm just sitting there like, okay, I'm creating a solution for any type of problem. So as I got older, got to college, people wanted to get fit, I started a personal training business. After that, I got into finance, and I was like, people want to learn how to make money, how to invest, how to trade. I started that business. Like, the biggest thing when it comes to entrepreneurship is finding a problem and creating a solution for that problem, and making sure it's catered towards a specific target audience to make sure that it's like, okay, when I give you this solution, you're going to take that solution and run with it, right? That's what you want to do.
And then lastly for me, Tendaji initially was a senior design project when me and my co-founders were at Hampton University. So shout out to my fellow Hamptonian right there, Jared. You already know what it is.
It's okay, kids. You can go to Howard.
See, here it goes.
Or A&T.
I went to A&T too. I went different grad school. But yeah, so back in 2019, we decided to, come together and think of like a project that could not just be like just an A in the class, but could have societal impact. So we all combined all of our expertise into one. So prior to the project, I had internships down in Miami with NextEra Energy and Duke University working in solar energy. My other co-founder, Stanton, he's the fashion guru of the group. He's been featured in Essence magazine. He's been featured in New York Fashion Week, so he always knows how to put a little style on. Jordan, he's our CTO, Chief Technical Officer. He's the stereotypical engineer. Like, he's on the shy side, he gets his work done, he goes home, But he always thought, one thing that he always found fascinating was wireless charging and its capabilities. So we literally was sitting in Stanton's apartment trying to figure out what this project would be. And, I thought of it, I was thinking, what if we make a jacket, Stanton's expertise, that could actually charge a phone, Jordan's expertise via solar energy. And that's how it came about. I remember we presented this to our professors. One of them said it was infeasible and impractical, and one of them laughed at the fact that the professor told us that. But that didn't stop us in wanting to make this possible, you know what I'm saying? Fast forward to March of 2020, we literally had the idea, we was bringing it to fruition, but what happened in March of 2020? I remember I mentioned this to the last session. What happened in March of 2020? Pandemic. So that separated us. Me and Stanton had to go back to New York. Mind you, that's the epicenter at that time of the pandemic, and Jordan had to go to Delaware. I remember there was this one pitch competition that was sponsored by Forbes that happened that following month in April. Literally, probably like 5 years this month, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we applied to it. It was sponsored by Forbes. It was called The Future is Icon, and we applied to the Future of Fashion session of it. Literally, we applied. We was like, we ain't got nothing to lose. We don't even have the product, but let's just see what happens. June 24th, 2020, we found out that we won that pitch competition. And we literally told ourselves, if Forbes is telling us yes, why should we tell ourselves no? So June 24th, 2020, that is our anniversary of when we founded Tendaji. And listen, man, like, even with us not having a product and people wanting to pour into us, that right there lets us know that we're in great standing to make this thing happen. And that's what Tendaji means, to make things happen.